Systems are composed of components. The International Space Station, for example, contains millions of parts organized as subsystems. There's the wall system for pressurization, the hatch system for entry, the living quarters, the electrical system, the cabin air system, and more. Each of these components is absolutely critical. Lives depend on them. If any major component fails, the whole system fails. Compared to the space station, the global human system is several orders of magnitude more complex. It's going to take monumental effort to understand its structure so that we can engineer the components necessary for Spaceship Earth to continue its flight indefinitely. Here's one possible way we can do that. Suppose we gave common property rights a try. Here's a quick summary of how the 7 components of the solution would work. First, enabling legislation is passed to create common property rights. After that, those interested in protecting the environment form a stewardship corporation. Stewards must be non-profit to avoid a conflict of interest, because there's quite a bit of difference between running a corporation for the benefit of the common good and running a corporation for the benefit of profit-maximizing shareholders. Then a steward files a claim. If the claim is approved, the steward now owns the right to manage a particular common property. A steward doesn't own a common property. They own the right to manage it. We are not privatizing property here. We are commonizing it. Once a claim is approved, the government sets the target for that common property. To keep their claim, the steward must manage the health of its common property so that it moves into the target's safe zone in time and stays there. Stewards do this 2 ways. The first is to charge fees for the use of their common property. Fees are charged at the most efficient place in the system. Psychologically and legally, fees are not a tax. They are the price of use of an ecosystem service, just like we pay fees for the use of so many other things. Once we have enough stewards, fees will internalize all significant environmental impact into the cost of everything. Now here's where we take the path less trodden. Except for a small amount for management overhead, fees are spent on buys. Fees flow in, buys flow out, as stewards, so to speak, buy any activity that helps move the health of their common property into the safe zone. Examples of buys are R&D, cost share for implementation, and education. Stewards monitor the results of their fees and buys. If they're running ahead on meeting their target, well, of course, they lower their fees. And if they're running behind, well, then they raise them a little. Their long-term goal is to spend their buys so wisely that fees are minimized. Well, that wraps it up. That's how common property rights work, in a nutshell. They can manage common property just as efficiently as private property rights have managed private property for a long time. How do common property rights do that? By resolving the root cause of society's inability to launch the sustainability revolution.